thanks for coming on, Reginald. It's been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, we'll wrap up this meet. I'm just kidding. No, welcome, Reginald.
Thanks for having me, fellas, really.
You did all the hard work already.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness me, I'm noticing something there. What you're wearing, man.
Yeah.
Oh, you,
Okay.
you peeped that, huh? You see the goodness.
That's awesome. That looks brilliant. That's great.
Yeah, it looks great. You guys got to see it in person, didn't you?
No, I haven't seen. Have I seen him on the TV?
Oh, okay. Look, it looks I mean, it looked okay when I was looking. You saw the pictures and the
Yeah.
ads and stuff, and I was like, let me see. But when I got it, I was like, oh, this is dope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Well, it's
really
better.
nice.
It's better that way round, isn't it, than the other way round?
Uh,
Yeah.
Look here. I said, okay, let me get a 2X because that's what I wear, but it fits like a player's kit, like an authentic. So it's actually tighter than what I'm used to. I said, I should have got a 3. But thankfully, I took the belly down a little bit. I've lost some weight, so I'm good.
Oh, good man.
I need to do that too. I need to lose some weight.
I need to
Yeah.
grow hair.
Oh
Hey,
man.
you don't realize how hard it is, Nick. Right. So watch this. So I've got a light here, just reflecting the
Uh-huh.
place. I've pulled the blinds to about that much in the studio, and then if I do this,
Oh, shiny.
so I've got to properly get this studio so the light's just right, so it doesn't reflect off my head or my ears.
Right. Mm-mm-mm.
Right.
Well, welcome. I think Matt's got a couple of questions to fire off this thing.
Yeah.
So go
Reginald,
ahead, my friend.
is it okay? So, is it Reginald or is it Reggie? Is it just Reginald? That's the
You
first
can call
question.
me Reg. That's good to go. That's good.
Good, because in the UK, literally everyone's short, and Australia, everyone shortens everything.
I noticed
No,
that. I
no,
noticed that.
yeah.
Mepham is Meps. Everybody's got a short name.
Normally, if someone pronounces your full name, you're normally in trouble, and it's normally by your mother.
Exactly, and that's exactly what happens with me. When I was a kid, if they heard my full name, other kids would come find me. Your mom's looking for you.
Brilliant. Right, let's kick this off. How did you become an AFC Bournemouth fan then?
Did you really? Okay. I'm going to tell you. So in the States, we're not bound by geography, right?
Okay.
So I wasn't born and raised in Bournemouth, so it's not like my grandfather said you're a Bournemouth fan, you
Yeah.
know. So my brother has been an Arsenal fan since '81, believe it or not.
Good
Yeah,
man.
Oh,
he's a mess.
same on you, Matt.
So we we went to visit my father. He was stationed in at Lakenheath in the UK. And while we were there, and this is the summer that, of course, Lady Di and Prince Charles got married and all that. So apparently, and I don't even remember this, but he saw an Arsenal match and he was like, "What is this?" And he was just mesmerized. And of course, back in the States, back then, you could not follow teams. It wasn't on TV.
Yeah.
He would literally go to Barnes and Noble to a bookstore and he would get anything he could find and just read it. And he did that until he was finally able to see it. Meanwhile, boxing was my sport.
Okay.
That was my number one sport. And then of course then it was the NBA and then the NFL. But he kept trying for years saying, Reg, you need to follow this sport. I said, nobody's getting knocked out in the first round. Nobody's getting dunked on. I'm good. And
Yeah.
he said, trust me. So finally, one summer, this is the summer. The funny thing is, this is right after the first promotion. So I had missed them winning and winning over the championship and getting promoted. But it was that summer, right before the Prem. He said, you need to follow this team. I know you love the underdog. And he gave me the background. I was like, Bournemouth? Sure. He said, no, fool, Bournemouth.
That's correct. Yep.
There's
Yeah.
some
So
people that still can't pronounce it properly, and they're
no,
pundits.
Yeah, and that bothers me. But I started following, and the funny thing was, um, Roger Bennett did the documentary, the 45-minute documentary on NBC about Bournemouth, and he sat
Okay.
down. He had Jeff Monster. He had everybody. He had Eddie, and it just showed the community like putting money together to keep the lights on, to
Yeah.
pay the wages.
Yeah.
The infamous story where he's sitting there and he's waving the check in the meeting. Otherwise, they were going to get liquidated. I'm like, liquid? You mean liquidated? And then to see the promotion and then the -17 and all the stuff that was happening, I was hooked. And I haven't looked back since then. Relegation, I haven't looked back. I don't care. I've been running with the team ever since.
Brilliant. It's surprising, really, because even I genuinely forget that they did that as well. When you spoke about that, when they're asking the fans for money and everything like that, I generally go, oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
Yes, that's wild. I've never heard of that. Like, to an American, the whole relegation promotion thing, that blew my mind. And then the promotion from two leagues down, and then the penalty. That was a trade embargo. You couldn't transfer anybody in.
yeah.
That's right.
Oh my gosh! And
Yeah,
here
yeah.
we
Well,
are.
18 months with the trade embargo. So I think we could only get a goalkeeper as an emergency or something like that, which was made the job even more impossible and remarkable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I've been fascinated. I mean, Fletcher and then what he did, that goal. I mean, I watched that I don't know how many times because I came kind of late, so I had to go back and watch the documentaries and watch the clips. And I don't see how he made that goal, and everybody stormed the pitch after he's. I was just like, wow, yeah, I'm sold. I'm sold, and I like beating up on the big boys. So that 3-0 to
Something
Manchester
like that.
United,
oh
that
wow,
was
yeah.
glorious last year. Loved it.
Yeah, no, I believe it or not, I'm actually an Arsenal. Well, my main team is Arsenal, but even now, when they're top of the table, yeah, I'm sorry, right? Even when they're top of the table, I still want the lower teams to win. I still want.
Hey,
You. We've got like I say 5-horse race really for the Premier League,
mm,
but I still want the lower teams to beat everyone and come through. I don't want to see anyone relegated. But we had
yeah,
a chat last week with a chap who's a Forest supporter, and they've just come up,
that's funny.
and it's good. I love it. I absolutely love it, and they're back in top
Yeah,
flight again. I think it's brilliant.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We got a guy here in Atlanta. He's in Footie Mob actually for with Atlanta United. He's in our supporter group. His name is Wes. His nickname is Big Wes,
Yeah.
and he's a big Forest supporter. As a matter of fact, he got confused with I forgot the name of Wes's last name who played for Forest, a star player, but he was confused with him. And that's how it started. And he's getting tweets, and everybody's like, Wes. And he's like, I don't know who you're talking about. He finally realized, oh, they got me. So after the weird mix up, he became a huge Forest fan. The club actually flew him out to Forest to a game, and he was introduced on the pitch, and they loved him. And he's got Forest on his arm. I mean, he's got it tattooed on his arm.
Wow.
He's
Actually,
all in.
Reg, stop you there, mate. Anyone from Black Knight, if you want to fly myself, Nick, and Reg out there to watch a game, I'm
We're more
sure
than
I can
happy.
clear it to work. I'm sure I
More
can.
than happy, yes.
Just put it out there. Bill, call us. Call us. Mr. Foley, please. Reg, where were you?
Awesome.
Look, I'm going to tell you, I was in Vegas last month, and I was walking around, and I don't know, I had that kit on from the
Yep.
championship. I was wearing that one. I had on the blue and yellow. And my wife was like, "You gonna wear a kit every day?" I said, "Yep, in case I bump into him, see him on the road, something."
Brilliant.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Because you were in Vegas whilst they were playing in Santa Barbara.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it was the
close,
week
but
before. It was the week before.
right. Oh, okay. I got it. I got it. Yes. So, well, that was. But I watched that. I watched that live. Watched both matches live. But I saw the Wrexham game more than the Arsenal game.
Yeah, me
And
too.
we were mentioning this not just the last podcast, but the one before last, because watching live, we saw the commentator said, and this is going back to the 20th of July. And the commentator said, "Is this what life is like without Solanke?" Because he wasn't playing during the first half of that Wrexham game.
I remember that.
And I thought, wait a minute, what does this guy know that we don't? You know.
Yeah.
Uh,
So anyway, that was yeah,
mm.
made us think a little bit, and maybe that could have started the whole thing off. Who knows? So
I said this before. Watching that game, because it was an American, it was in America, and it looked like everything was an American production. At half time, it sounded like I was watching the PGA because of the music at half time. Because I'm not used to that, it was all very melodic and sweet and and really peaceful, nice music. And we're just used to a bit of hard rock or something from Australia and the UK. Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. I know Atlanta halftime, it's a little different because we're the ATL, it's the South. So they start DJ EU. You'll start hearing some Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, and yeah, so it's a whole lot of hip hop at halftime.
Okay. Brilliant.
yeah,
Right.
we'll get
Next question, mate. What's the fan base for AFC Bournemouth like over there where you are in Atlanta?
It's me and one other person.
Is it? There's no,
Let me
Literally.
guess. Is that
literally.
Ashley?
That's it. That's A-Ro.
AWO, DJ. Yeah.
Do,
Yep.
do you boys meet up a lot or?
Well, she and I are
Oh,
also in Footie
sorry.
Mob.
Is she? When you
Yeah,
said
yeah.
Ashley,
So
I thought,
Ashley, she's in Footie Mob, and she's the DJ at our tailgates. And the funny thing is, she got into Bournemouth just through me,
yeah.
and then she saw Callum. This when Callum was still with us. This is pre relegation. She saw Callum Wilson, and she was done. So, so it's just been us. And the funny thing is, we meet up, every now and then because we see each other at Atlanta United games, but we meet up sometimes. And one time we made the mistake about 2 years ago. We met up at a Manchester United bar.
Uh-oh.
We knew what we were getting into, but we're crazy. So we walked in. It's about 40, 50 people. They have a large, they're insufferable. Anyway, there's 50 of them, and they were just loud as all get out, and they were chanting and stuff. And so one of them said, "Well, don't you guys have any Bournemouth chants?" And so we started doing, "We got our manager named Eddie," started doing that one. So we started doing that, and then they drowned us out. It was so embarrassing.
That was like, wasn't it? Was it last season with the Arsenal game? We turned up. There was a good number of Bournemouth supporters, and even I don't get intimidated by crowds. I never have done. Even when I've been outnumbered, I never get intimidated. But I got there, and I don't think I've ever had this before. But literally, the whole bar was Arsenal, and I was just like, "Here we go."
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you one instance. I was we were going to watch the Bournemouth Newcastle game, and there was a couple of Bournemouth lads making their way, but I think I got there first. And the Newcastle lad tweeted me, said, "You might want to know that there's Leeds down on the ground floor, Leeds United." I walk in, and as soon as I walk in with my with my Bournemouth top, they all turn around and say, "Who the F are you? Who the F are you? Who the F are you?" I don't swear on this channel, but it was like 70 or 80 Leeds fans all chanting that at me, and I was just going,
That's it. That's all you can
That's all
do.
you can do.
Wow.
But yeah, that was that. I met a couple upstairs who were Leeds United season ticket holders who were very nice. We were just
Wow.
he just said, "Oh, ignore them. They're just just being typical fans." But
Were they young, or were majority of them?
They were still in their 20s,
Okay.
20s and 30s, yeah. The couple were in their like 60s or so.
So the younger lot do not remember what happened with Leeds and Bournemouth then?
No, they don't. You know about that,
all
don't
about
you,
that then, Reg. Yeah.
All I can say is a lot of people don't remember a lot of stuff, and depending on where you jump in, some people
Exactly.
are just kind of reluctant to kind of look back, but it
Yeah.
really helps.
Is this the time then we tell you that Nick was actually in the Leeds crowd? Go on, let him tell you the story. Let him tell you the story. Go on. Go on.
I'll tell the story. I think this was reported in the Athletic. It's from a few years ago.
Are you serious?
Me and Peter Rutzler, who was the athletic correspondent for AFC Bournemouth before we got relegated, we did a really good article on how AFC Bournemouth started and all that sort of stuff. And but the story about Leeds was I just come back from Spain. I lived in Spain as a kid for 8 years or so. So when you're in Spain, all you hear about English football is bad stuff, right? You know, the Heysel disaster, the hooligans, the Hillsborough, the Bradford City Stadium being burned. Anything that's bad news is news, and so you think it's normal in England. So you go. So I moved to Bournemouth, and a friend of mine, I made friends in the neighbourhood. He's a season ticket holder, and he said, "Oh, the last game of the season is this Saturday." So, "Oh, can I come?" He said, "Well, you won't be able to get a ticket, and it's been sold out for ages." And but you can still have a look. So I thought, okay, I'll have a look. And I just started walking around the old dusty car park and stuff, and there's people running backwards and forwards. And then I started walking in, and you got the police horses on one side, and then you got helicopter circulating above. And I was looking out, and then people start running past you, getting knocked. So I thought I better run to avoid being knocked over. And then the next thing you know, I'm running with the Leeds fans. I'm thinking, I don't think I signed up for this. You know, like I think I need to get out of here. So I just tried to run, but then tried to run out of that crowd because they were doing some pretty horrific stuff. I'm thinking, no way did I want to be involved in that. I was just having a look, you know, and I didn't get a ticket. So there was a game that was in the Athletic Stadium, which is just kind of next door. I think it was is it a 5-minute walk, if that?
Yeah.
In Kings Park. Anyway, they had a game, an American Football League happening during the 90s in England, and the Bournemouth Bobcats playing the London Ravens, and both sets of fans were complete opposite of what was happening at the football 500 meters away. They're all sitting together, singing, having a great time. You know, let's go Bournemouth, let's go London Ravens. You know, and I was thinking, man, this is like chalk and cheese. This is complete opposite of what's happening. And I could see the Leeds fans jumping up and down in the second half. Obviously, they'd scored, and that was an unbelievable experience. I often joke with people, saying to them, you know, following season I signed up to become a Bournemouth fan, and then the first game of the season, like Bournemouth Rochdale or Bournemouth Stockport, I'm thinking, where's the crowd? Where's the running battles? You know, that's the joke. You know?
Well, you even threw a couple of bricks at the police, didn't you? Just because you're in the league. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He got carried away. He just started going, Leeds. Ripped his shirt off.
No way.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. Oh, okay,
Wow.
cool. No, yeah, I know. She's actually she's a DJ, isn't she? DJ at the tailgates, or
Yeah, she's DJ ARA-OO, so she DJs at our Footie Mob tailgates for Atlanta United every weekend. Whenever we tailgate.
Does she DJ vinyl, or is she new school?
She's new school.
Look at this. I don't know if you can see. I've still got all like my 1210s. Still got the vinyl. Yeah, still got that.
I would show you mine, but I still got some from when I was trying to be a DJ in high school. So I've got some stuff over there too. So I understand.
What have you got?
It's LL Cool J's first album.
Okay.
It's Run DMC, the single for Peter Piper.
Okay.
Another one I got over here. I don't know if you remember. Um, who is it? It's DJ Cheese. Well, the song was King Cut,
No.
and I used to love King Cut. I got Fresh Gordon. I got all kinds of stuff over there, but yeah, I keep a little stack just for memory's sake.
Yeah.
So I love DJs. Respect the vinyl.
I've still got,
Absolutely.
look at this. If I I don't know if you can see that through.
Oh,
There's all my vinyl back there.
oh, I love it.
Yeah. Right.
You don't mess with hip hop heads like this. Don't do that. Don't do
I've
that.
got a little bit of it's more 90s. I haven't got any as far as I remember, because it's all dance. In the UK, it's all dance. So
See, you messed up. No, you got to hold on. Let me go get something. See, you
go
messed
on,
up. Oh my goodness.
In a minute, we're gonna have a scratch off in a minute. But
Oh, so I put everything in one bag, but you remember, so you were part of a record pool, right? You remember that?
sorry, say that again.
You were part of a record pool?
No. Mate, for me, it was all you go down Saturday, right? It'll be like it'd be a religion. You'd go down every Saturday. If you didn't, you'd have a mix in the morning, go down to the record shop, literally headphones on, Run DMC.
Okay. Then let me show you my other. So when I got this one, I think I intentionally made it a point to memorize every song from the album. That's how bad I was.
Oh, wow.
See,
So was it Tommy Boy?
there's nothing better than sifting through records. And that
You
it's a
gotta dig
lost
through
art,
the
and a lot
crates, man.
generations now won't. Obviously, it's at their fingertips. It's you go down there and you just put it on, put the needle across. You go, what is this? Look at the vinyl.
They don't
I love
appreciate
that.
the good stuff. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I love taking number 33. Is it 33 RPM? You know, take the record out of the sleeve, and then you've got the inner sleeve and stuff. So yeah, you got the blur function on your camera.
Uh-oh.
So,
Dang it.
Can't see.
yeah.
But this is the LL Cool J,
Okay.
so you can't really see it, but
I think I just saw a Def Jam in the bottom corner. Is that correct? When you flipped it round?
yeah, and this is LL's album. It's hard to see because of the blur. But yeah, his first album. So I got Beastie Boys. I had all that stuff. So all right to the DJs.
Wow. Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. I tell you what, I always wanted to buy, and I don't know if they made it over in the States, was you could buy like a little camper van that was a needle and a speaker, and you just put it on top of the record, and it goes round in a circle and played. It just drove around. I saw I saw it in like, it was hard to find records in the UK. I don't know if they're still going now, but I always wanted one of them. But then it was pointless because I've got two 1210s, Technic 1210s. So I'm like,
There we go.
Okay. All right, man. You're doing your thing.
all good. Sorry, where were we, Nick? Sorry, because we're on about Ashley. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Reginald was mentioning about Footie Mob. So, for those that don't know who Footie Mob is, would you like to just quickly let us know what Footie Mob is?
Yeah. So that Footie Mob, as I like to call it, Footie Mob is a supporter group for Atlanta United. And each supporter group, there's 6 official supporter groups, but ours is really about, it embraces hip hop culture. It embraces specifically a lot of the Southern hip hop culture in Atlanta. And we just are really about just having a good time. It's a real big party at our tailgates. We do a lot of things that are a little different. Of course, tailgates are different from what you all may be used to. So we tailgate for one. Number two, a lot of stuff, it's a lot of African American culture too. So I went to a historically black college university.
What's tailgating?
So tailgating, it started not necessarily the South, but for college American football games, a lot of times before the games, and also for before American football games, the NFL, before the games, fans would get together. They pop the trunk. They bring out a grill.
Oh,
They start grilling. They bring out the chairs, the lawn chairs, and they sit in the parking lot. You know, they have some hot dogs, some
yep.
hamburgers, listen to music, and so they call it tailgating.
Wow. Okay. Yep. I know now. Yep.
That'd
Yep.
be kind of
So
like a fan fest equivalent,
it's like a
sort of.
fan fest. It is. But for us, for the Atlanta, well, for the MLS and for Atlanta United, we actually had a big parking lot, and so we put up tents. We have our own chairs and tables. We have a DJ booth for ARO, for Ashley. And yeah, we dance and we cater our own food. So we have a lot of the local caterers, a lot of local
Brilliant.
businesses will
Oh,
cater our food on match days.
Yeah, awesome.
so I know I've just got, okay. So I've got what? Okay. So we've got 10 minutes left. I'll cut this
Oh
bit
gosh.
out. All right. Reason why I said, oh, and what we'll do when it gets down to 1 or 2 minutes, what I'll do, I'll send another invite and we'll start again. That flew past. That's amazing.
I know, because you're just talking about stuff which is cool and which you guys like and stuff, and it's great. Yeah, that was the Gulch, wasn't it? The Gulch parking lot.
It started at the Gulch, and now we are at our third location now. So we went from the
Wow.
Gulch to another location near the stadium, and then now we're across the street, across the main road, across Northside Drive, in another location.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's still on my bucket list, man. To go to Atlanta and to experience that pre-match thing, and man, yeah, it's taken a while.
I'm waiting though. I can't wait for you to come, man, because we're gonna act up, just so you know.
All right.
Okay, so this is going to be Matt's question, but we mentioned about Footie Mob. We've mentioned about tailgates. You were Capo. Did you say Capo or Capo?
Capo.
Capo for Footie Mob. What does that involve? What does a Capo do?
It's really a throwback to a lot of what they do in France and Italy and some of Spain. But you're the person who leads the groups and chants. So a lot of things start organically in the UK. You guys just kind of start in the stands. But for us, we have certain people like myself who are designated to, we're going to say this chant, or we're going to do that chant, and we count it down, and we get everybody started, and then that's what we do. And we try to keep it going for 45 minutes. So there really isn't much of a break. So we go 45 minutes, halftime, another 45 minutes. So it's a lot of fun though. It's a lot of fun. I got a lot of help from one of the capos I follow in Brazil. He's with the club Sierra in the Northern Brazilian League up there, and he's a legend he's a legend out there. And I just started following him.
Awesome. Yeah, and you must be really exhausted by the end of it, though.
Well, I stopped doing it actually. This year's the first year I have not done it. So I did it for 6 years straight, and then this year I said, you know what? I'm not gonna do it. I need to watch the game with my wife. I need to actually be in the stands and be dry and not covered in beer and sweat. So yeah, but you're exhausted. You really feel like you played the next day.
Wow. Yeah, and I guess the following day, do you make sure you don't go to work the following day, or that's you're not that lucky?
Usually it's on a Saturday or Sunday. So if it's a Saturday, then I get to rest it the next day.
Oh man, that's good. Matt, would you like to ask about Atlanta? I said to Matt I'd give him some Atlanta questions.
So you're an Atlanta fan.
Fanatic.
Okay. What's going on with the team at the moment? Because I've heard they're not doing that good at the moment. What's going on?
You know, Bournemouth and Atlanta United have swapped places in terms of expectations and play.
Okay.
So so you guys remember when we got relegated that year, we did everything but score. You remember that? So previous seasons, Callum, everybody was knocking in goals. We let a lot of stuff in the back, but Bournemouth was scoring goals, so they were able to stay up.
Yeah.
Well, Atlanta is now. I give an equivalent. Atlanta is now Manchester United. That's how we are
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
So we were at one point, we were the darlings of MLS. We won the league our second year in existence. We still sell out. We still have the highest attendance in the league. We average about 45,000 a game. So we still pack it in, but the play on the pitch is like we have the best way to put it is we have chess pieces, but sometimes managers or whoever is leading us at the time, they're playing checkers with chess pieces.
Okay.
Oh, that's a
So
good
these
way
are
of putting
players. These guys are qualified. They have great background. You can tell that they have the skills. They're technically sound. They can do all of these things, but they're just not being put in the right place. So I give an example. So 1 minute we are horrible. We're playing terrible. The next minute we go to Miami away and we beat a healthy, rested Miami team with Messi, Busquets, Suarez, and who else? And of course, Messi.
Joseph. Joseph still play there?
Joseph is now in Montreal.
You could have just stopped at Messi. That'd have been it.
But look, he had his buddies with him from Barcelona, so he had all of them. He
Yeah.
had Suarez. I mean, he had them all, and so we beat them 3-1. And this is Miami. They're killing the league right now. They're top of the league. They're top of the Eastern Conference. We beat them, and then we come back home and we lose to whomever.
Wow.
But I'll say,
frustrating.
man, I gotta go. But I'll say this much: the reason I think that our manager was fired was not because of what was happening before that game. It was because we won and we beat them at home away. That was proof that they can do better. So it's like, so what are you doing if you can come down here and beat Messi in Miami, but then you're losing at home back to back to back? There's something wrong with you.
Yeah. But then that happens quite a lot with the English, with any team. You'll see it like they'll be terrible, absolutely terrible against the lower league teams. And then suddenly when it comes to like Manchester United, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, boom, they win 1-0, 2-0 out of nowhere. They pull off something. Yeah, maybe
Crystal Palace
is good, but
yeah, Crystal Palace is a great example. Every time they go to Man City, they seem to beat them.
yeah.
I just don't know how.
Didn't they? No, Fulham beat Arsenal last year, didn't
Yeah. All right. Cheers, mate.
I had to throw that out there.
It was like a kidney punch then. I was like, oh, what are you doing? It's meant to be sparring. It's meant to be nice.
Well, you did like boxing.
We've got a minute left. So what I'll say is we'll have a cup of tea because that's what I'm going to do. And then we'll pick it up at 12, yeah?
Yeah.
10.
All right, we're back in a sec, lads. Speak to you in a bit, all right?
Hey, Reg, I was just chatting quickly to Matt before you came on. You have a story to tell about Darren Eales and Eddie Howe. I love that story. You've got to tell us the story. Come on.
I will try to be as concise. I know I can get a little.
I know it's a long story, but it is amazing.
So here we are. It's just before the championship, before Atlanta United plays for the championship against Portland. This is 2018, and so we know rumors have already started that Tata Martino is probably not going to be the manager next season. So we're like, oh no, what are we going to do? So there's a real big buildup. Again, we were the darlings back then for MLS. So a lot of people were coming to Atlanta to see the stadium, to see us hopefully win the championship. And so Roger Bennett and Men in Blazers had an event. And so we went to the event, and the producers had the supporter groups get up on the stage at the end of the event and lead the chants. Well, while we were kind of backstage milling around, Darren Eales is, of course, president of Atlanta United at the time, and he's walking around. And so I pulled him to the side. I said, Darren, let me talk to you for a second. He said, what's going on, Reg? I said, look, let me ask you something. If Tata doesn't come back next season, can we get Eddie Howe? And he said, Eddie Howe? I said, yeah, just play around with it. Tell me what you think. And he laughed. He said, oh, Reg, you're funny, Reg. Okay. And he kind of walked away. So at the time, of course, he was still with Bournemouth. So then fast forward, relegation, Eddie's gone.
Yeah.
We're in between managers at the time. I see him at another event. I said, remember what I said? And he said, Reg, I'm talking about Eddie. I said, Eddie. Yeah, Eddie. He's like, so he laughed again. Fast forward. Who becomes president for Newcastle? Darren Eales.
Ah.
So now he's over at Newcastle.
Ah.
Right? So he's over at Newcastle. Who's manager now?
Eddie Howe.
Eddie Howe. So now the last part of this is during the fan zone that they had in Nashville, Tennessee, a couple of months ago. I went to Nashville. I'd never been to a fan event, so I went and I saw a whole bunch of Cherry supporters for the first time. It was glorious. And I'm actually waiting in line for something I'm waiting in line for. And I look to my left. Who do I see him just walking through the crowd? No one notices him. No one pays him any attention. Darren Eales. So now I walk over to him. I'm the only one who's speaking to him. I said, Darren, what's going on? Oh, Reg, how you doing? I said, how's it going to Newcastle? He said, man, it's great. I said, how's Miggy? Talking about Almiron. Because remember, he was with us. Darren was responsible for helping bring Miguel Almiron to Atlanta United, and we won the championship. So I said, so how's Miggy? He said, oh, Miggy's great. You like what we're doing with him? I said, yeah. I said, so how's Eddie Howe? And then he stopped with me, and he just busted out laughing. He said, Reg, I said, yeah, pretty good, huh?
Wow. So
That's the best story. Man.
So are you saying that you actually gave him the idea for that?
I will say, I won't say I gave him the idea, but I got on his nerve. I'll just say that much. Because I was trying to get him to come to Atlanta.
That's excellent.
Well, here's the thing. At the time, remember, Eddie was in between teams. He was crushed after the relegation. And Atlanta was a nice place to raise his GPA.
Yeah.
Go back to school, raise his GPA. Eddie is great, and you all know this. Eddie is great as he's a great man manager. Eddie's also great at taking players to the next level. Yeah. Remember when we got promoted the first time, some of those guys were down in League One.
Mm.
And he actually coached them up to play in the Premier League for 5 years. I mean, who does that?
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, and MLS is because of the salary cap, you really can't just go out and get who you want. Sometimes you have to work with what you've got. And Eddie, he's used to dealing with a negative 17 point deduction. He's used to a transfer embargo, so he knows how to improve players. Look at Callum, look at Nathan Ake, look at Ramsdale. You look at all the people who left Bournemouth and now playing big with some of these other teams.
But they're normally feeder clubs. Normally the lower leagues are always a feeder club for and I know that sounds a really silly thing to say, But
No.
well, actually, do you know what? Talking of that, there was talk a few years back when he brought Bournemouth up afterwards, when they were actually doing well from when they first come up, that he, with the Arsenal job and possibly an England job as well, because he did so well.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't take the England job. People kept linking him to the England job, but I think he's not, except for the Burnley thing. I'm gonna leave
Yeah.
that alone. I'm used to him staying to see something through,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So I can see. I'm pretty sure he feels like he's got more to do, especially with qualifying for Europe and not really getting too far. He's like, yeah, we got to see this through.
Well, I spoke about this last week with Nick and Glenn. It was like, if you can leave someone, they're gone with the days. You look at Alex Ferguson. We were speaking about that, where he nearly got the sack, I think, in '86. And they don't really. It's very rare that you'll see someone that will say from a lower club, "There we go on. You've got a bit of time, progress." It's very rare you see that. You
Hmm.
know, they want instant results. Sometimes people can give it them, depending on how much money they've got in the club. But yeah,
Or you can have a Chelsea who just kind of
or you
they
could
just
have a
kind of
Man
go through them.
City who have got 115, 115.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw an article this morning, and they reckon that if everything goes ahead and they actually just say, for example, that they get done for 115, the amount of points that will be deducted, I think they'll get relegated.
yeah, they're saying 70 to 80 points. They
Wow.
say they say they will be penalized anywhere from 70 to 80 points. So if you kind of do the math, what is it, 38 games, 38 fixtures, right? Even if they won every single game, the most they could get is 34 points.
Yeah. Which will not see. Yeah. I don't think any team will survive on that.
Yeah.
I've got something to show you, my friend. Just going to take this off. Yeah, it's
Hey,
golf food
My
Tuesday.
man.
I was showing Matt
Yes,
the
sir.
channel yesterday. We were actually admiring the fantastic camera work,
Yes.
uh, just the just how it all flows, checking out these different places and stuff. Whose idea was it for this YouTube channel? We'll put the link below in the description as well. Was it your idea? Was it a couple of people's idea, or how did it start?
It was my idea. So my brother and I were going to Atlanta United games, and we were leaving one particular game, and we noticed if you go around the stadium for Atlanta United, around Mercedes-Benz Stadium, there it's really located in the West End, the edge of West End, which is a primarily black part of town. So there are a lot of African American businesses over there. There's restaurants, there's breakfast places, I mean, just bars, just all kinds of things. And we noticed everyone was driving past there to go to the game and to leave after the game, and they were just not getting the business.
Yeah,
And so we were like, if the World Cups, this is long before they even announced the World Cup, we didn't think we were going to get it, but I said, if something big like the World Cup ever comes here, they're not going to benefit business wise. A lot of these businesses are not going to benefit. There's because of course in America, football is not the sport. It's the NFL, it's the NBA, and sometimes Major League Baseball. So the African American community treats soccer, as they call it here, they treat it like golf or tennis. It's something that we've been priced out of. It's too
Okay.
expensive to play.
Seriously.
Yo, it's very
Oh,
expensive. It's so expensive. So when you see Venus Williams and Serena Williams, they got into tennis not because they couldn't afford the lessons.
yeah.
Their father went and got books and videos, and he
Oh,
was teaching them in Compton the basics of tennis.
I didn't know
And
that.
then when they got good enough, they got picked up by some, I think one of the academies, bigger academies in Florida. Tiger, his father, took him out and was getting him exposed. But one reason that a lot of African Americans and Latinos don't really play, now keep in mind, hear what I'm saying here. African Americans or Black folk and Latinos not playing football, but in America, they can't because it's too expensive. So you're priced out of those things. So there's no interest. And so because it's not part of our sporting culture, there's a disconnect. So the point of Gold Food is to take the businesses and take the sport and bring them together, because I don't think, yeah, and I want them to see just how dope this sport is. So I'm in the barbershop. I was in the barbershop today. And
all right, cheers, mate. Thank you for saying that.
Hey, look,
what you're laughing for, Nick.
Look, I've got locks, but I was getting the mustache and everything trimmed up. And inevitably, we start talking about sports in the barbershop.
Yeah.
And it's the NBA, the NFL. And if I start talking about soccer, they know now, but there was a time I'd be talking about soccer and they'd be like, man, nobody play no soccer. I'm like, bruh. So I take my phone out. YouTube is amazing. What do? I pull up Ronaldinho. I pull up Ian Wright. I pull up.
Oh, mate. I've still got, he was my idol back in the day.
Yeah.
I've got an Arsenal shirt in there. It's Ian Wright on the, well, not obviously not Ian. It's got Wright on the back, Premier League badges. Mate, he was amazing, wasn't he?
He was. And I mean, so now I'm showing these guys, highlights. You can make it everything look great. So I'm showing them highlights. Paul Pogba, sorry, I know he's in trouble right now, but back then he was amazing. So I'm showing them all these highlights of all these different players, and I'm like, so who doesn't play soccer? Man, I keep in mind, I'm getting a haircut, or I'm getting my face lined up. The guy's got a razor, and there's like 10 people, 15 people around me and my little phone at a barbershop, and they're like, show me that, man. So now I'm showing them. I'm like, so now they're like, oh my gosh, man. So it's like that. I said, yeah. They don't see the ads. Like, you guys will see commercials at halftime, and you might see, I remember Lukaku was in a Maybach commercial or something like that. We didn't see it here in the States, but I remember I look up ads and stuff, or they don't know who Raheem Sterling is. They don't know who Rashford is. They don't know a lot of players. And I'm speaking specifically to the African American community. They don't believe that Black people even play soccer. So in this country, they see minivans and orange slices, and it seems like nobody wants them. And I'm like, you have no idea what it's like in the rest of the world.
Yeah.
They're starting to see it now. So I started going, I said, well, let me do this. In my mind, I see it's the World Cup. There's somebody who's coming from Croydon. There's somebody who's coming from the banlieue outside of Paris. There's somebody coming from South Africa. There's somebody coming from Brazil or from Tennessee. And they're like, well, I'm in Atlanta. Show me, what's the good Atlanta food? Most people are going to go to the tourist spots. They're going to go to, I'm not going to name them because I'm not going to. But they go to the tourist spots to eat, and they forget. So I'll say this. They go to Waffle House. They don't know about the Beautiful. The Beautiful restaurant has been around longer.
40 plus years.
Yeah, and it's great food, and people don't know about it because they go to Waffle House. The best food is not over there. So if I'm here for the World Cup for a month, you can go downtown for a little while, but then go over here, go over there. So the point of Gold Food is to take the businesses and the sport and cook something up.
That's brilliant.
That's a great idea. I mean, I was thinking of doing something inspired by Gold Food to do something similar in Sydney, but I just didn't know where to start. And I did know a few places, but yeah, it's not easy. You gotta think of what you're gonna say, how to interview people, take them away from their routine and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, one day, I'd love to do something similar, like a Gold Food Australia version.
Franchise. There we go. You heard it first. We're having a franchise.
That's it. Well, I got the T-shirt already, so hey.
I think you'll find
it's
as
trademarked,
well.
so you are the man, sir.
Yeah.
We're not done either, so we got more stuff coming. So tomorrow I'm actually going to look at I'm starting back up. We got Wes, the guy I was just telling you about, this the Forest fan. He's actually also a techie. He does a lot of coding, and he said he's offered to do the editing for me. So we're back in business. So we're gonna go probably filming about 2 weeks. I'm gonna go do some site visits tomorrow. So we'll be back up.
Woohoo! I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, sorry.
But I didn't mean to talk so long, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go on and on. But
that's brilliant.
No, I love it. I love it.
That's amazing.
We were talking last week about football and travel, and this is football and food and also travel, especially those that come to go to Atlanta to check out. And I think it's only a good thing to help the small businesses and the ones, especially the ones that have been around for a long time to just get the taste of the South, the real taste of the South, not this pre-ordered, pre-manufactured stuff, whatever it might be. Anyway,
we're helping out all the big corporations.
Hey,
I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying about that.
But Matt, I got a story for you. So you remember this, guys? Do you remember when Robbie and Troops came to Atlanta to watch an Atlanta United game?
No.
This was maybe 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. They were doing an American, when Arsenal came to the U.S., they had played in North Carolina, I think it was. Somebody from Atlanta said, you need to come here and come to one of our games, see what we do. They went and got Robbie and Troops from North Carolina, drove them to Atlanta to come to an Atlanta United game. So Robbie came to the Gulch. He came to the tailgate. Robbie was I'll have to send the link. Robbie was in the bins and he was watching us at the game. He had a great time. And the funny thing was, he got there, and what did they do when they got him to Atlanta? They took him to Waffle House. I was like, I can't take this. I got to do something. That was one of the reasons I came up with Go. But I'm like,
oh, brilliant. Hey,
awesome.
Talking tech, what camera do you use?
It's not me. My brother, believe it or not, he filmed a lot of stuff. I think it's a Nikon. It's just little, I can't even describe it. It's half the size of my phone.
Yeah.
And he would film it there. But he also, my brother went to college for film. So he took my logo, he put the watermark in there. He came up with the little pop-ups and he would put those in, So he did my brother's brilliant when it comes to editing and how to make things look like this. So I have these ideas. And he's like, okay, so we need to make it this. And he's the mastermind of making it look decent. But it's only three of us. It's my brother, the sound guy, and me.
You've got a sound guy. So I do it part-time. I'm like a part-time videographer as well. So when I hear you've got a sound guy, I think you must be loaded.
No, it's all free. These guys love me, I guess.
It's normally just me. Do everything. I'm like holding the mic boom and the camera.
What? Don't say that.
I'm just telling him what to do.
But yeah, this guy, he's got the boom. Believe it or not, he's a professor, and he actually teaches in the college system. But he will bring his equipment from either campus or it's just his stuff. And he's got the bag, and I got the special little mic, and he's holding a boom. You don't see it, but he's doing all this stuff.
Brilliant.
I love the video.
It was good,
on that series. It was brilliant. It's just great stuff.
Thanks,
awesome.
guys.
I noticed that we have signed a few players, and the latest one to come through is Evanilson from Porto.
So it's been good.
In the break, I was just watching the interview. I only got through
it's been confirmed.
His English is not great, but
I posted I posted the acceptance video. They get real flashy. I put it on the NFC page, so you get a chance to go look at it.
Yeah, but no,
I'm excited.
I love how Porto in Portugal. They seem to be they're on the ball all the time. That they seem to be never ending. It's just they must have so many scouts in South America and especially Brazil. And whenever there's a big signing, Porto's always selling players, bring them in, selling them on. I'm thinking that's just an amazing club, and they've been doing this for years now. So I'd like to know who's behind that, who's behind that whole strategy, that operation.
Yeah, but does that come from didn't Bobby Robson manage Porto? Who did he
A lot
manage?
of teams.
Who did he manage when he had Jose Mourinho with him? As the
Barcelona.
to Barcelona. Oh, God,
Yeah, that was Barcelona. Yeah.
I just
Jose
imagine it
Mourinho
came
was
through there.
translator.
You know that?
Yeah, but no, I'm happy for. I mean, it just seems that Bournemouth have got a few players in mind if any of their players leave, and it was interesting listening to some of the channels. They're struggling to get the Julian Araujo's surname, and I'm thinking,
Say it again.
There's going to be a competition for the worst one. I only know how to pronounce it because I lived in Spain, but also I've got a friend who's called Jeffrey de Araujo. In Australia we say Diraggio, Arajo.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I got to get this guy's surname right. You know what I mean? But I thought that was funny. That kept me entertained. So
I love it though, because I hate mispronouncing people's names.
Yeah.
When you know better and you still do it, now it's disrespectful. So I want to pronounce it correctly. Now, we had a Portuguese player in Atlanta with the last name, but he pronounced it Araujo.
That sounds about right.
The J is different. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was pleasantly surprised by Julian's interview. I wasn't expecting him to know English, but he is born in the States, and he was so enthusiastic. I was like, wow, this is an interview I'd like to watch twice. I'm thinking these guys he's really happy to be at Bournemouth. I'm thinking this is a breath of fresh air.
Unlike the fella that came from Juventus, I can't remember his name now, Dean
Huijsen.
That's it, yeah, because he was a bit like, I am really pleased to be here, and I think this is going to be amazing.
He's reading
from on him again.
He's reading.
Yeah, it was. He was just like this. And I was like, oh my God, he looks really happy, doesn't he?
Oh. I tell you what, I tried to remember this guy's surname, one of the previous podcasts. Remember when we signed Juan Iturbe from Roma? He was an Italian / Argentinian, I think. And his first interview, he was like this. He was sat back, playing with his ring, sort of not interested. I'm thinking, man, this is not a good sign. He was like, really didn't care. So, I mean, at least Dean Huijsen was much better than that.
Yeah.
But
at least he put on a fake smile.
Hey?
At least he put on a fake smile.
Oh, come on.
I don't know. Bless him. He's only 19.
You.
You can't have. I'm being too. I totally admit it. I'm being too hard on him. But normally, I don't expect him to be doing cartwheels and setting fireworks off in the studio, but I just expect them to be, even if they're like, I don't really know what to expect, I'm happy to be here. I didn't feel it. It was just.
Yeah, this is they were both so excited and it was so genuine. And I was watching, I'm so excited about the Premier League coming back. So I'm looking at everything. So I was watching the BBC transfer window. They come on every couple hours. Anyway, so they were talking about Bournemouth so much, and I was just like, who are they talking about? They were just impressed. They were like, the fact that we got this guy from Porto, he's got Champions League experience. Yeah. He scored like 25 goals. And then we got Julian, and Julian is he came technically from Barcelona.
Mm.
We're getting people who we would never think of like it, and they said this on the air that, a couple of months ago, 18 months ago, Bournemouth would have never realistically thought about getting somebody like
No.
like him from Porto because he was he was out of our league. We just couldn't afford him. We couldn't do it.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Maybe it's a difference in the manager. Maybe the the people backing them. Maybe they've just gone, look, we can do this now. Let's go.
Plus, Andoni has La Liga and European experience, and
Yeah.
he'd have his own network. But I mean, obviously, he knows what he's looking for. Um, and yeah, and I think we underestimate sometimes, or at least some people do, is that the pool of the Premier League. So you know, everyone wants to prove themselves in the Premier League,
Yeah.
and that's a big pool as well. But not to mention also our project, and where we are going in the future. I think that impresses a lot of players as well. So I think those
It's
two
really
things
impressive.
combined, I
Yeah.
think is yeah.
Well, talking of Andoni, uh, what we heard, you brought this up. He called the Vitality Stadium Dean Court.
Yeah, and that's unusual, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
normally, if you're a
yeah,
staff member, you have to call
yeah,
it by the sponsor's name, the
yeah.
stadium by the sponsor's name. And yes, I was listening to the press conference before the game, before Nottingham Forest game, and he was saying, blah 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 blah, Dean Court. I went, Dean Court?
Yeah, I think
We
it's
call it Dean
amazing.
Court. I thought an official, no, someone from AFC Bournemouth calling the Vitality Stadium Dean Court. It's like wow, that's awesome.
And you wouldn't expect it to actually call it Dean Court. Why would he call it Dean Court? Because he would have called it the Vitality. He came, I'm sure, it would. I think it's
Yeah,
amazing.
I
Even
think
though,
That's
it's
just
just another connection thing with the fans because we
yeah,
all
hmm
call it Dean Court.
yeah,
So I was like, wow, this is awesome. That's awesome.
I
I
like
still
him
call
so much
shopping
though.
centres the old names. Just proves that he's getting on. Proves
What
he's
is?
getting older. I still call there's a shopping centre in Poole called the Dolphin Centre. It used to be called the Arndale Centre. And I'm like, I'm going down the Arndale Centre. Don't ever say I'm going down the Dolphin Centre.
The first. I just wanted to let people know that I got the secret recipe from Reginald a number of years ago, the sweet potato pie.
Okay.
Now, was that your mum's or your grandma's recipe?
That's my mother's recipe.
Right. Okay. And I actually, yeah, I made the sweet potato pie for the occasion of AFC Bournemouth Sydney Supporters Group 5th anniversary fancy dress / picnic party, and so I bought two sweet potato pies there. It
Yeah.
was held out in a place called the Domain near the city centre, and it got rained out. It got washed out within
Oh,
like 30 minutes, but people did try it. And a friend of mine who's a foodie tried it. He said, "Can I have the rest of this?"
No,
So
no,
it
you
was it
can't.
was a hit,
It's
and I
copyrighted.
was honored to get that recipe. I haven't passed it on to anyone. I have to seek permission for that.
yeah. Thank you. I'm glad it worked out because I had to ask my mother for permission because we don't give it out to anybody. So other than
Yeah.
you, my sister-in-law is the only other person outside of my family who has that recipe.
Wow.
That's it. No, it was good. It was good. I'll have to make it again soon.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. So we've got yet again with the limitations of this. We got a short window now. So I need to ask you, Reg, what do you reckon? How do you reckon we're going to get on for the season?
Um, unlike the pundits, I see us actually cracking the top 10. I think because now we've got players who are coming now who are
Yeah,
they're going to help us on the back. So Julian's a fullback, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
He'll help us in the back line. He's going to give some stress to other players to step up their game. I like how do you pronounce his last name again? Nick from Porto.
Araujo. Oh,
No,
Evanilson. Evanilson.
Evan. And so I like him mainly because he will give Unal that push he needs. He needs a push because Unal is better than he's showing us. So he'll give him a push, and it's nice to have some depth.
Is Unal injured again?
Yep.
Is he?
Oh man. When's Tyler Adams coming back? Because he was injured as well, wasn't he?
That back surgery, he's not supposed to be back until September at the earliest, latest October.
Because I've seen what he can do. He scored that absolute amazing goal against Mexico from outside the box, and it's like, whoa, our guy can do this.
Yeah,
stem cells and antibiotics and steroids. He'll be back in a week.
No.
Miracles. Dr. Burton
I hope this
says so.
I hope this time around he stays fit, man. It's just too long. Pretty much a whole season.
Yeah, but they have faith in him. I mean, I'm surprised that ownership is like, Foley's like, he's going to be fine. He's supporting him. I like that.
Yeah.
But you think a few years ago it had probably been longer?
Yeah. Yeah, because of the medical, the attention. Because I remember when we were in the Championship, players started going to Italy for rehabilitation.
Or Germany.
Whereas before, in the old days, they would have gone down to the Arndale Centre, the local GP.
They'd be like, let's have a look at that. That doesn't look too good. Have you always had that? Oh, sorry, that was in the wound.
No. Oh, man, that's good. But I agree with you, Reginald. I think, top 10. I think let's aim for top 10, you know. I don't think we can start any worse than what we started last year, 9 games without a win. So I reckon this year's team is compact and solid. I think the only thing is they'll probably just take a little while to gel together and understand each other. But I mean that'll be the case with any team starting this year, you know, with new players in and out and stuff like that. So there's no excuse really. But Andoni's I love Andoni. He's great. It's just brilliant.
He's done well.
Definitely brilliant.
What do you reckon the Forest game? Reggie, what do you reckon, mate?
I say 2-1 Bournemouth.
That was to mine, wasn't it, Nick? Yeah.
Yeah, 2-1. Yeah, we said that last week, didn't we? 2-1. Yeah. It's going to be, I reckon, a tight game. I reckon the first half will be 0-0, just trying to suss each other out and try and figure out, you know, and then the second half, let's let loose on the second half. Anyway, that's just, I think.
Good.
Cool.
Right. I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Anything else you'd like to say, Reginald, to us or anything, or do you want to plug anything, or?
I just want to say congrats on everything you're doing with this. Please continue. I hope you guys continue. We don't have enough of what you guys are doing, especially for Bournemouth. We just don't have enough. And in Australia, I mean, anyway, this is just, the whole thing is just brilliant to me. So I'm just glad that you all just got this kick started. When Nick mentioned it to me, I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it.
Brilliant. Yeah, maybe we want you back on, definitely. Do you know what I mean? We'll get you back on.
I won't talk as much, I promise. I'll be a good boy.
You never... Hey, it's normally me. We did a segment a couple of weeks ago. We had to cut out 4 hours of me just blabbering on.
That was your Argentina trip, wasn't it?
Yeah, that went on for 10 minutes.
You'll have to rewrite it again.
Right. And even I said, no, we've got to take that out.
But you went to Argentina? Okay.
I'll tell you, next podcast, if you can remember, I'll tell you, I'll cut it down. All right? Right, mate. Look, thank you again, Reg. All right, mate? It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Reg. Really.
Chat soon.
Yeah, up the cherries.
Up the cherries.
See ya.
Take care. Thanks for coming on. Bye.